All right, what's up, sports bettors? Another video from Math-Based Bets. Today, going to do a week 3 recap. My third week betting positive expected value bets from the OddsJam plus EV page. So you can see we are on my dashboard now, and we are talking about week 40 on the tracker, or week 3 tracking and analyzing using the data from OddsJam. For anyone that saw last week's video, you saw at the start of week 3 or week 40 here, I was down about $260. So we ended the week with a measly profit of just over 17 bucks. But for me, a huge win to be able to bail out of those early losses in the week. So another thing I want to point out just on the dashboard, Caesars Sportsbook is new to Pennsylvania, where I am at the moment. Signed up with them. There was a great sign-on bonus as well, and have been pretty profitable so far with them, mostly thanks to football, which you can see profits are creeping up as the season progresses, winning pretty well on football. So total profits up to almost $1,950. A lot of good bets already locked in for this coming weekend on NFL and college football. ROI is staying 14%, and I think it might have crept up 1% on beating the closing line value. You can see still mostly winning from plus EV plays here, $1,000 profit plus EV. Although I will say my free bets have all been paired with plus EV bets from OddsJam. So just so you know, the tool that we're working with here, this is the positive expected value page on OddsJam, which is going to pull together all the best bets. Right now, I'm using the recommended filters. Definitely a great place to start. You can see a ton of great bets here with pretty great profit margins. One I locked in here for the Dolphins-Jets game. Another one I locked in for the 49ers and Panthers. We'll see how those go. So, as I said, pretty tough start to the week. We were down, I think, about 260 bucks at one point, mostly thanks to the 27th. As you can see here, definitely my biggest loss by far. I think previous biggest loss was about 96 bucks. On the 27th, lost $225. This is what that looks like in your tracker, which is not great to see. But one positive note I'll mention is that most of these bets, I had a ton of bets here on the 27th. Some I can't even fit on the screen. But most of these, we were able to beat the closing line value. So you can see when this number here is green, these are the odds I was able to lock in. And over to the right, you can see where the line moved to. So a lot of great bets. I was able to lock in this bet at plus 126. Line moved all the way down to plus 101. Although we lost it, the main thing is to beat that closing line as often as you can. So you can see only a few here we got worse odds than the closing line. Almost all of them we beat the closing line by a pretty good margin. So I also just copied those into here. You can see these are all the bets I had on the 27th, and we lost them all. So hate to see it, but that's just variance. And I also want to point out that these bets are almost all baseball. There's a tennis bet or two in here as well, but what I've noticed and what I've heard from the community is that baseball definitely has the highest variance of some of the popular best sports to bet on. And that makes sense, right? Over 100 games in a season, you can expect a lot of unlikely outcomes just due to the high number of games. So let's walk through the analysis for week 3 here. These are all the bets exported right from OddsJam. We were able to lock in 67 bets for the week. And let's take a look at what comprised of those bets. So on the summary view here, you can see we had bets on baseball, football, and tennis. Tennis, as I mentioned last week, has become a pretty big loser for me. Just that week, lost $120 on tennis. Baseball, we lost about $95 and were able to bail us out a bit with some football bets. So another thing I've been looking at and interested in is where I'm making money or losing money on plus money versus minus money bets. And so you can see in week 3, locked in 36 bets with plus odds, 31 bets with minus odds. And once again, you can see here that we were bailed out by the plus money bets. Although I will point out that on football, we did win more with the minus money bets, so the favorites versus the underdogs. But football, we generally just crushed. So let's take a look at the type of bets and where we won and lost. A little bit skewed this week, I would say, because we had a pretty big downswing earlier on the week. So a lot of this is just straight losses. But there are some interesting bits. So I was previously losing, I think, overall with first half bets in baseball specifically, and clawed back a little bit here in week 3 with first half money line. So just something to note there. We were able to win $51, bail us out a little bit. A few wins here again on football. This is some college football bets. On the point spread, we went 2-2, came out with a profit. Total points, able to win 62. So some of these mainline markets, a little bit more well-defined, and we are winning pretty well there. Lost on team total, first quarter point spread, lost pretty big on player receiving yards. You can see had 10 bets there, went 4 and 6. And I think some of those bets were weighted pretty heavily in as far as the bet size go. We got great odds and missed, I think, one of these big bet sizes, like maybe a $50 bet we lost by 1 yard. So these things happen and definitely to be expected. We've also won a lot of bets by 1 yard. Player rushing yards, went 4 for 4, able to win $165 there. First half total points, we lost 30 on the NFL. Then some more player props here, rushing attempts, longest passing or team total as well. Able to pick up a little bit of profits there. Scrolling down the last few here on tennis. So as I said, tennis becoming a big loser. $50 on total games bets. I found a lot of the plus EV plays that come up on the OddsJam page for total games are on the lower end, like under 20 games, under 21 games, maybe 21.5. And I like to watch tennis. I played some tennis as well, and a lot of games just go further than that. So I've been taking the bets when the expected value is there, and just something I want to take a closer look at, see if I do want to continue with some of these tennis bets, or maybe just be a bit more selective. Also lost on the game spread. I think these are also, pretty tight lines when I see them pop up on the plus EV page, but the math checks out. So that's why we're taking them. And then also lost a bit on total games in a different league here on tennis. Last thing to look at is the amount won and lost on those positive odds by market type. So just a few to point out. Baseball total runs, we had 3 and 3 for plus and minus odds. On the plus odds, lost $55, won 16 on the minus odds. So a pretty weighted heavy loss on the plus odds side. MLB first half money line, 1 on both. We got 1 and 1. And then a few down here to take note of. 1, heavy losses. You can see, as I mentioned, the player receiving yards bets. We had 10 in total. 8 of those were plus money. So I think we went 4 and 6 for wins and losses. And you can see most of those were plus money. We lost a little over $100 on just that market alone that week. And we actually lost on both sides. And like I said, I think those bets, even though we won a few, I think we won 4 out of 10. We lost money on both sides just due to the dollar amounts that were wagered for those. We were able to claw back a little bit in the rushing yards market, won on both sides of this, picked up about $160 profit. And then some more football bets down here, one on both sides for rushing attempts. That was reflected in the total winnings on the previous tab. Team total, only one bet, and it was the favorite. Then again, down here on tennis, pretty much all losing on tennis. Only 2 total game bets for the ATP. Lost both of those, $25 bets each, I believe, and lost $50 there. Game spread, we had 1 plus money, 2 minus money bets, lost both of those. 1 and 1 on total games in the WTA. Won $15 on the plus money, but bigger bet on the favorite and lost $30 there, so down 15. So that's all I wanted to show for week 3. I think an important note here is just what we experienced in terms of variance. So we had a great week. Week 2 won $478 profit, followed by a pretty intense few days losing. So first day of the week, we lost $36, followed by that brutal day losing $225. Lost again the following day, just under $23, but followed by some good days, right? So won $150. The next day, mostly on football, lost a small amount, and then we had 3 sizable wins in a row. So variance to be expected, certainly higher in some sports than others, like baseball. As you could see by our day here, lost every bet. But we know that if we are using the OddsJam plus EV page and only taking bets with a positive expected value over the sports book, we know that by the law of large numbers and placing enough bets here with a large enough sample size, we're going to be making money in the long run. And as you can see, we are definitely making a healthy profit here. You can definitely see when we started to ramp up the bet sizes, just reflected on the graph here. So interested to see how, especially ROI, will continue through these larger bet sizes. And just want to point out that we do have a great sample size here. Everything tracked on OddsJam. You can see 1,200 bets placed from the OddsJam plus EV page. Most of those very small unit size, back here when we had winning and losing days of, $5, $10 in a day. So yeah, great ROI, and looking forward to reviewing week 4. We'll be doing a week 4 review as well as a month review. So that's the end of the first month, tracking and analyzing bets from the OddsJam plus EV page. So looking forward to it. Thanks for joining, and we will see you in the next one.